All right, welcome back again to the stream. So I deleted the VOD, but for those that were here about an hour ago, I had to cut the stream short after like 7 minutes because had some plumbers come to the house, but that's all situated and squared away now. So now we're going to do the stream for real. Today we're going to be working on a couple of random things. I've got some bugs that I want to fix, might do some art touch up, probably going to do a bunch of playtesting. So yeah, we're just going to see kind of how I'm feeling and what sounds good to work on. I think I do want to work on this shop to make it more likely to sell thematic part types and parts with rune slots. So I think that that's going to be... a huge enhancement to the shop because the shop is a little bit underwhelming right now. But let's see. Yeah, I've just got a bunch of other things in here, so probably we'll get the bugs taken care of first. And then, yeah, I've got some stuff to do for Steam. So like I said on the original stream that I started this morning, I've got to do some Steam things, which I can't do on stream due to NDA issues. But I've got to get some Steam stuff done. I will be submitting a build of the game to Steam soon, so that everything's just good to go. They have a little bit of an approval process that needs to happen before you can release your game, so I just want to get the game approved for release well ahead of the release so that I can press the button on time. What else? Yeah, I think that's not really relevant to this stream. So we're going to go ahead and just do a bunch of random things. We'll probably start with this bug here, so where you can pause during player death. But before I get into that, I want to remind everyone that all the ways that you can support my work are linked in the description below. You can purchase one of my Udemy courses. I've got a C# and a GDScript course. And you can also wishlist Gunforged, of course, which is content complete. Which means that all the content that I think should be in the game is in the game. I probably will add more content between now and release, but the main focus now is going to be playtesting, making sure everything feels good, and getting the game ready for release. So yeah, again, check out the links in the description below for everything, all the ways you could support me, and let's get right into it. Hello again, AnyKey, welcome back. I need to do code reviews, so you'll be a quiet voice in the corner for a bit. Excellent. You give those junior developers a good what for. Hello, Neozoid. Yes, I'm back. Hello, Boyer. Boyer. How you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Or welcome to the stream. I don't think you've been here before. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this bug. So the bug here is that you can pause during your death, which is not good. So I have to see how I'm going to handle this. Because the tree is already paused when that happens, and so it just kind of ends up adding confusion here. I actually don't know how I'm going to fix this, because this is a little bit... Let's see. If I do add health -4, see, I can bring up the pause menu, and I think what will happen is I'll unpause the tree after that. So if I do this, player death animation component, does this get, let's see. I forgot how this works. Okay, so the base level will spawn, I see. So how is the pause working? Pause manager. So when the player dies, what is this UI lock added stuff? Oh, I see. So when the player dies, I need to disable the pause stuff. The problem is that the pause manager stuff is in this, oh, the instance get tree pause. Where is this even being used actually? I actually don't know. Player death animation component. Oh, it's adding a lock there. Okay, so it's actually not causing any issues. It's just probably that you shouldn't be able to pull up that screen. So where's my pause menu being instantiated? Pause menu. Show this in file system, view owners. UI manager, oh gosh. If action is pressed, player information, action pause. So how do I want to prevent the pause menu from coming up when the player's dead? I need a way of knowing if the player's dead. I mean, I could just connect to this. Probably the cleanest thing to do is going to be in here. Public override void. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to that player died signal in here. So I'm going to do game events dot instance dot connect game events dot signal name dot level entered callable dot from on level entered, and then in here private void on level entered. This actually takes an enum of level, I believe. Oh wait, that's not right. Level. I was thinking I need to do this up here. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to do this dot get player dot died plus equals. Is that right? Do I have a died signal? I do. Okay. So player dot died plus equals on player died. Private void on player died. And we're just going to do something very simple here. Private bool is player dead. Okay, and then in here, if is action pressed, action paused, and not is player dead. So this is a little bit, oh, I can't do this. If player equals null, return. So basically what's happening is anytime we switch a level, the player gets reinstantiated when the level starts, or instantiated, I should say, when the level starts. So we'll just detect when a level is starting and connect to the player died signal here. And then when the player dies, we'll just mark a Boolean as is player dead, and we'll simply prevent the that pause menu from being instantiated if the player is dead. So hopefully that, it's not the cleanest fix in the world, but I like that solution because it's very narrowly contained to the UI manager. So I don't need to store any kind of like global state or anything, which is nice. So if I do add health -4, and then I try to hit the escape key, nothing happens. But when I go back to hub, I should be able to do this just fine. So the reason why, I mean, there's no reason to be able to pause the game when you're seeing the game over screen, because like you get to see it anyway, right? So there's just a back to hub button here. So there's no reason to be able to bring up that pause menu momentarily. Okay, so that's that fix. So let's see this. Prevent pausing during death sequence. All right, so that's one bug fix out of the way. All right, that should be good for the stream today. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's see. So now I have an issue where the loot goblin is still able to pick up health globes. So the loot goblin, this one is going to be a little bit tricky to test. Hub arena. So the loot goblin, I nerfed the loot goblin so that it's slower to pick things up, and now it only picks up gold. So before it was picking up everything, which was a little bit OP because it's basically like you didn't have to do any work to pick up health globes. The problem is, even though that the goblin is only targeting gold, it still has a pickup area that detects when it enters health globes and whatnot. So I can very easily show that. So if I do in the entities here, instantiate health globe, and we'll just put this up here, for instance. And then we got the loot goblin, so I'm going to instantiate Or I can just add the loot goblin myself. So let's do debug, visible collision shapes here. Run the hub arena. And once we've got the hub arena in place here, so now I could say add passive loot goblin. And now you can see that even though the goblin's not targeting it, he could still pick up the health globe. Let me just run that again. Add passive loot goblin, so you can see, yeah, see how he picks it up. So that is not good. Also, why is this pickup area so big? It doesn't seem right to me, does it? I might change that, but let's not worry about that just yet. Hello, Polaris. Thank you so much. Have a nice and successful day. You as well. Thank you. So I think the way that I'm going to fix this is I'm going to go to my gold specifically here. And I'm going to change the mask or the, let's see. Yeah, the mask. So this is player activation, ally activation. So the ally activation is the thing here, but I'm going to change that for the gold specifically. So if I go to my loot goblin, I should see that this collision, this area 2D exists on the ally activation layer. Actually, there's an easy way to fix this actually. So I'm going to go to my ground pickup component here. I'm going to remove the ally activation from the mask here. So that means that runes and health globes will not be picked up. And then for the gold, I'll just go ahead and add that here. So this ground pickup component, ally activation right there. So now let's try these things. So if I go to my hub arena, I'm going to instantiate some gold here. Instantiate gold. We'll put a piece of gold right here. Trying to figure out a good place to put it. I guess I can kind of overlay it. That'll work, right? So gold there, and then I'm going to put a rune item as well. Rune item. And then we'll be able to see which one the goblin can pick up. Hello, Dione. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. Okay. Add passive loot goblin. Oh wait, that worked. So now he's not picking up that. Okay. So I'm going to try this a little bit more carefully this time. Okay, so add passive loot goblin. He picks up the gold, does not pick up the health, and does not pick up the rune. Perfect. Cool. All right, so we can get rid of all those. And turn off the visible collision shapes. Perfect. Okay. Fix collision masks for loot goblin pickup items. So that bug is now fixed. Wow, my bugs are so simple. Okay. Let's do this now. So we're going to make the shop more likely to sell thematic part types and parts with rune slots. So this one should be a little bit interesting. If I open up my shop keep here. So what happens is the inventory is generated here. Let's change this, I suppose. Okay, so it's going to generate part resources. Get random part resources here. This is shop price randomizer. Gun part shop item. Pick scaled part resource. Arena loot manager. Pick gun part. Yeah, let me think. So I think what I need to do is indicate that I want an extra bias in here. So I want some kind of extra bias for gun parts. So let's do this. Pick scaled part resource. Minimum affixes in medium tier. The problem is I need to be able to temporarily change the biased table. And that's going to be a little bit difficult. Oh boy. Okay. How do I want to bias this? Pick scaled part resources. Can I do this? Does C# support the destructuring? Probably not. Var stuff is equal to new arena loot manager dot pick part props. Because you could do this in JavaScript. Stuff. Nope, no destructuring like that. Okay. So what I probably should do is, maybe what I will do is I will do public. Oh, this is gonna be really... This is gonna be really tough. So in this update bias loot table, what's happening is that it's automatic. It is biasing. You know what I might do? So if I just want to bias it so that more thematic guns happen, what I might do is this. Pick gun part. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do public gun part resource. Let's just do an array, I guess. Pick heavily biased gun parts. Pick part props. Pick part props. Let me make sure that this is going to work. Get random part resources. Yeah. Okay. So pick heavily biased gun parts with the pick part props int amount. Let's do to pick, amount to pick. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for, let's do this. We're going to do update bias loot table. So we're going to call this update bias loot table here. So I'm going to update the loot table twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say int bias override. Let's actually do int nullable bias override is equal to null. And then this bias weight here, let's see. Var bias weight is equal to bias override or the typical bias weight. So we're just going to fall back, that null coalescing there will fall back on the default bias weight here. And then I can replace this with bias weight. And actually, I'm going to rename this to adjusted bias weight. Cool. Am I using this bias weight anywhere else? Oh yeah, here. Adjusted bias weight. Okay, cool. So now if I do pick heavily biased gun parts, int amount to pick. So I can update the bias loot table here. And what I can do is I can pass in 10, for example, as my heavily biased weight. So I might as well make that a constant. 5 is constant heavily biased weight. Okay, so we're going to update that biased loot table. Then what I can do is for int I equals 0, I is less than amount to pick, I plus plus. Let's create a new resource. So picked resources is equal to new gun part resource amount to pick. Picked resources I is equal to randomize biased gun part loot table dot pick item, and then pick part props. After all of those have been picked, I'm going to call update bias loot table again, so it resets to its default configuration, so it goes back to the normally biased weights, and then I'm going to return those picked resources. So that will just allow me to do that. So now if I go to my shop price randomizer here, what I'm going to do is, let's do this, var amount is equal to Matthew till RNG rand I range. Var result is equal to, this is going to be tree.root.get wave rewards manager dot pick. Oh wait, now I have to add something in here. Why am I doing that here? That's only being done in the shop and... Oh, because, yeah, okay. I need to run it through the... What is pick gun part doing here? What is my gun scrambler doing? Is this not working the way that I thought it was? Pick gun barrel. Pick props. Oh, okay, this is working, okay. So that's a little bit awkward, but that's fine. Pick heavily scaled part resources. Pick heavily biased. It's kind of a mouthful, but that's all right. Return loot manager, pick heavily biased gun parts. We need an amount int amount to pick. Amount to pick. And then this, since it could be null, we'll just return an empty array. Okay, so now in here, pick heavily biased scaled part resources with the amount that I want to pick. Might as well be consistent with the naming here. Okay, so now I can iterate over that result and create that item. So I can do result, oh no, picked parts. Result is equal to new gun part shop item amount to pick. Okay, so result I is equal to picked parts I. Let's do picked parts dot length here. Let's just rename this to shop items. shop items is equal to new, so a new array of gun part shop item. I wonder if I should do, actually this would be a lot cleaner if I did this. Return picked parts dot select X new gun part shop item X and then math_util. So this will handle the case now where if I end up returning an empty array, it's not going to break. Sweet. So that's just going to transform all of those picked parts into shop items. So now that I'm picking that heavily biased gun parts, that's going to update the loot table with the heavily biased weight here, which is 10. So that should make weapon parts that you, so like if I have a dragon part, that's going to make dragon parts much more common. And the idea is that I should be able to more easily construct a set bonus from the shop. And that's going to be one of the advantages of the shop. I may also end up increasing this median part tier because that's what controls the damage of the part. Is there an easy way to do that? Let's see. Hello, Momo. And hope you're all doing well. Just came back from some work. I am doing well, thanks. How are you doing? The game looks so good. Thank you, Shabazz Games. Good morning, Fox Shadow. Saw your post about it being cold outside. Guess we'll just have to go with another indoor game dev stream. Yeah, we're gonna have to cancel the outdoor game dev stream for today. I was so worried last night, because a couple years ago it got this cold and my pipes froze in my house, and that's not good, obviously. So I actually got up. I set an alarm for like 3 a.m. so I could get up and check the pipes and everything. But all is well. I did find out this morning though that I need a new water heater, so there's that. Being a homeowner when you're on a very limited income is very expensive. So since I'm poor, you guys have to buy my Udemy courses. No, I think Gunforged will be fine. I'm hoping Gunforged is fine. I have this ambitious goal of selling 10,000 copies of Gunforged. And if I sell that much at the price point that I'm thinking of, minus the Steam cut, minus the taxes, that should give me a decent chunk of money where I will be good for a while. So I don't think 10,000 is unreasonable. I mean, I've sold like tens of thousands of my Udemy course, so I know it's doable. I know I can do that, but I'm gonna have to really focus in on my marketing effort to get to that amount. So we'll see. We're getting down to go time now. Pipes freezing in a house is no joke. Yeah, it's not. It's not fun, but thankfully nothing happened last time the pipes froze, and they didn't freeze this time, so that's good. We have to pour some material down the sinks and toilets before leaving mountainside cabin. Oh, like you pour antifreeze down the stuff. Okay. Yeah, antifreeze or something, yeah. Yeah, I was doing a bunch of research last night, like how do I keep my pipes from freezing, but I just left one of the faucets on drip, and thankfully, like, there was no wind last night, so even though it was cold, it was like not, the heat wasn't being stripped out of my house. Anyway, pick heavily biased gun part. So I was looking at this get median part here, right? Progress percent. Yeah, I'll worry about that median part here later. Let's see how this is looking. So we'll see how this is looking. Pick heavily scaled part resources, okay. So let's do random encounter handler. Let's increase the shop by a lot. And then let's go ahead and go to the dungeon arena. We will turn on debug mode so I don't have to fight through a bunch of things. It was cold here too. We got to like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my gosh. How did you survive? Doing great. Just found a way to make my game's modifier system dynamic. Once it's done, I can send you the game if you're up for giving it a try. Yeah, for sure. As always, I can't make any promises, but I'm always open to seeing the games that you guys make. So, but yeah, I have to caveat it with, please don't be offended if I don't get around to it, because I got a lot to do, you know, but I will try. Okay, so let's go right in. So this is going to be 5 times the amount of biased weighting in the shop, which means that you're not guaranteed to get... Oh, I forgot to give myself gold. You're not guaranteed to get the parts that you need to complete a weapon set bonus, but it's going to be very likely. So I should see some... Hello, shop. Okay, so I've got a couple of moss parts here, so that's good. Let me just create somewhat of just a kind of weird configuration of guns here and see if that works. I may even up the bias even more, like to 20 or something, just to make it really, really common. See, I've got 2 moss parts here because I've got... So the other thing is that the bias is going to increase depending... So if I have 2 moss parts, then that's going to be a total of 20 bias points in favor of moss parts. So it's going to be even more common depending on how many parts you have. This 10 is actually feeling pretty good. This level, this amount of 10 bias. Because, let's see, so now I've got oil. So let's see if I can finish out that banana gun. Oh, there's a banana magazine, but that doesn't help me. There's my banana barrel, though. Now, let me just make sure of something here. Update. So this arena loot manager, update bias loot table. So let me check gun part loot table logs. So I can go to my logs here. Part loot table logs. We need to go down to the latest ones. Okay. So there's 2 logs side by side here. So this should indicate, oh, there's 3 logs. Well, let's see. Banana barrel. So yeah, so look at this. Added banana barrel with original weight 10 and biased weight 30. So each of the banana parts is being given a bias weight of 30. And then the bone here was given a bias weight of 20. So now this next log here, we're back down to 14. So this is exactly right. So the normal bias is 2 points in favor of the player. So the banana barrel here has a normal weight of 10, but it was given a bias weight of 14. Each of those parts was. And the reason is because I had 2 banana parts on my gun. So yeah, so we're seeing the output of that. So we've got this biased weight being massively jacked up here. Same deal down here for the oil stuff. And then it's back down to normal. So oil here is 12. So yeah, there we go. So that seems to be working. I'm just going to try it a bunch more times. May increase the amount of parts that are available at the shop as well. It has a max of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is the minimum, 8 is the maximum. I may make it so that... do I want to increase the amount of options? I can make that a meta upgrade, actually. Why don't I do that? I should make that a meta upgrade, right? Meta upgrade. The shop offers more items. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually add that. So maybe we'll do that since we're on the shop stuff right now. So even though I said Gunforged was content complete, if an idea like this comes to me, I'm going to add it to the game because meta upgrades are relatively simple to add, and it's just extra content, you know, like might as well stuff the game full of content. Okay, so I think that this is looking all right. Don't save that. Okay, so I'm going to close this. So I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. We don't want to commit that. Okay. This. Okay. Add heavy biasing to shop parts. And I might as well discard those changes there. Cool. All right, we're going to call that one done. The nice thing about being basically done with the game is a lot of these tasks are relatively easy, so I'm moving through this backlog relatively quickly, which is nice. Totally fine, I understand your situation. Thank you, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. I'm trying to be responsive and engaging with the audience, but it's actually getting to the point where, like, there's a lot of people following my work and I just can't keep up. Haven't seen the game updated since the demo, looking so good. Love the UI updates, like the here's where you can drop the currently dragging them item lines. Yeah, I think it's feeling really good. I think by the end of the week, I'm gonna update the demo on Steam. I want to do more playtesting with the demo mode enabled specifically, so I can get a feel for like how it actually feels as a player. Because I made a bunch of changes to what content is available in the demo as well. So I just got to play through that a couple more times, make sure that it feels good, and then I will probably be updating the Steam demo by the end of the week. And also uploading a full version of the game to Steam again so that I can get a pre-approval for release well ahead of time, because sometimes Steam will come back with random, you know, issues that you need to address. I don't think that's going to happen in this case because as far as my testing goes, Gunforged runs well on all the platforms I'm making it available for, but there's always a potential that Steam will come back with some random thing that needs to be addressed, and I would rather get that out of the way 4 weeks ahead of time rather than, you know, try to do it the last minute. So I got a lot of Steam stuff to do, but let's go ahead and make a meta upgrade. Love to see another Obsidian Kanban user. Yes, welcome, Big Quail. Big Quail! Look at, wow, that profile picture is hilarious. That is a big quail. Did you draw that yourself? It's honestly the only way I stay organized on my game. Yeah, I think I just love Obsidian mostly because I have full ownership of the notes that I take. I'm getting to that phase in my life where I'm like, I'm getting older and I'm like, no, everything's mine. I don't want to be reliant on third-party, you know, cloud services for my data. I mean, you have to be reliant to some extent, but I've got a nightly backup process that downloads all of my GitHub repositories to my my NAS over here, and that also backs up to a cloud service provider. So I'm very paranoid about my data, which I think is reasonable. Heck yeah, awesome. Okay. So, how do I do a meta upgrade? So I need to go to my resources here. Meta upgrade, boom, create new resource, meta upgrade resource. Increased shop items. Did I spell that right? Yeah, increased shop items. What do we want to call this? New shipment. The shopkeep presents... The shopkeep has a larger gun part inventory. There we go. We're gonna need a texture for this. I'm just gonna copy this for now. Paste there. Cost. Well, I don't know what the cost should be because I don't know where this is gonna go yet. Upgrade tree screen. Let's take a look at this. Actually, it's gonna be easier if I run this and then take a look to see where this should go. This upgrade tree is feeling very tree-like. I like it a lot. So let's see. Research and development unlocks the rocket gun. Let's see. Pickup radius. Come out of your room, we have visitors. Okay. So I guess the shopkeep should probably be over here somewhere. Because this like branch over here, this is all related to the random encounters. So firstly, you have to unlock this one, which makes encounters and events appear more frequently. And then these are all related to the encounters. But the shopkeep does not yet have an encounter. So I'm going to put another option here, and that's going to be... I still have the demo flag on. And that's going to be that new increased shop inventory. So let's take a look. Oh, it doesn't tell me what the price is. So that's 300. So maybe like 400. What is this one? Prize wheel multiple uses? 600. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be charging you guys lots of money. 400, 400, 400, 600. Maybe we'll do 500. So let's see. Increased shop. I'm actually going to rename this. Increased shop gun parts. Okay. Cost 500. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to just duplicate this item here. Put this over here. Kind of janky how I'm doing this, but it works. Increased shop gun parts. Put that there. Okay, but that's not all, because now I need to go into my meta upgrade tree and add that. So prize wheel multiple uses. Here it is. Increased shop gun parts. I need to add this here. Public const string increased gun part. What is it called? Increased shop gun parts. Okay, so increased shotgun parts. Where's my prize wheel? Here we go. Increased shotgun parts. So the way this works is that this is a tree. This meta upgrade tree is just a tree structure. It's got your typical outgoing, incoming connections, which I'm going to use the fancy new collection initializer, I guess. And then, so this add node basically says, here's the node I want to add, and then this array is an array of the dependencies. So that's how I'm connecting up all the lines. That's all happening at runtime because I didn't obviously want to connect lines through this UI. That would be terrible. So it's all happening programmatically. And actually, I wonder... I might move this. Create lines into the instantiation here. Cool. All right. Let's see if it works, I guess. For the file system colored look, is that a plugin? And if so, where I can grab that? It's not, actually. Are you talking about... Oh yeah, the colors over here on the file system tab. This is just a Godot 4.3 thing. You can just right click here, set folder color, and there you go. It's odd that you can't set custom colors, but that's all right. So yeah, I think you have to be on Godot 4.3 though. Hello Rin, welcome back to the stream. Always good to see you. How are you doing? Okay, so now I've got the line there. I might move this down a little bit. The shopkeep has a larger gun part inventory. Sweet. There's something about that that looks a little bit off in terms of the positioning. I'm not really measuring it, I'm just kind of like eyeballing it. That should work. Yeah, that looks good. So we got this whole little wheel down here about all the encounter upgrades. I might add another meta upgrade here as well. Or no. Add another gun part option up here. There's 24 meta upgrades to unlock. Okay, so that's all looking good. So now I just need to make it work. So if I go to my shopkeep here, get random part resources here. So this RNG, so there's a difference of 3 there. Trying to think of what an appropriate value would be. Min is equal to save manager.has meta upgrade ID dot increased shop gun parts. If it has the meta upgrade, then the minimum we'll set it to 9. Otherwise 5. Var max is equal to has part count upgrade. We're going to do a max of 12, otherwise 8. Okay, and then we'll put the min and max in there. Disregard the magic numbers. So it's going to be a range of 9 to 12 versus 5 to 8. I may end up turning that down, but I mean, I don't even know. Is 12 going to be too much? Let's see, that's 6. So if I just duplicate all these, oops, that's what 12 will look like. Right? Yeah. I mean, you can try it out. So now I can just test it by running this screen, I think. Can I do that? I don't know. Doing okay, thanks. Good. Good, good, good. So is that 8 right there? Does it always generate 8 in the little screen here? 8. Five. Okay, cool. So now what I can do is let me go to my save.json. Save.json. Let's look for meta upgrade unlocks. I'm just going to copy this, paste that here. Increased shop gun parts. True. So now I should see no fewer than 9. Oops, it did not work. Did I spell the increased shop gun parts? Interesting. Oh, maybe, you know what? I might just have it hard-coded. Update test data. Get random part resources test. Oh. Oh, that's why. I mean, I guess... Oh, man. Okay. I'm just going to have to test it in the game then. Just going to have to go back and test it in the game. First of all, I want to see what happens. I have this meta upgrade unlocked, even though it's not connected to anything. Oh, it just works. New shipment. Look at that. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the game then. I have to go back to my dungeon arena too. If I was not at the end of development here, I would make some tools for me to automatically change while I'm running the game, whether enemies should die instantly and whether waves should be forced to end or whatever. Kerblam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at that. I want to see what happens if I get to 12, though. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 10. Nine. Come on, give me 12. That's 10 again. I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, it's working, but I just want to see it. I want to see it work. There we go. Well, that's 11, right? So now I want to see what happens. Add health -1. I want to see what happens if the heal button is in place, because the heal button only appears if you are missing health. Oh, I healed though. Dang it. Okay, that's what I was mostly interested in, is what this looks like. So yeah, that should be fine. Heal there, boom. I got a lot of part options here. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, this shop UI also needs to change. This here, theme overrides, I think it needs to be 2. I tightened up the distance between these things quite a bit. Cool. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Make sure to commit those changes. These changes can be discarded. So discard those. Okay, so the last thing that I need to do is I need to create an icon for that meta upgrade that I just created. So let's take a look. There we go. Okay, this is called new shipment. Do I have enough talent to create a shipping crate? We will find out.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Not sure how I feel about that color, but we will work with it. That is not going to work. Okay, this is not working. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Just get a slightly darker color here. Give it some impression of depth here. Use a slightly lighter color. That'll work. Too much highlight here. I guess I could probably make this one. That's all right. I don't want to go overboard and do the same thing over here necessarily, but let's just see if I can do something. That's fine, actually. It does not need to be perfect, that's for sure. It's fine. That's fine. It's just an icon. It doesn't need to be... Does not need to be perfect. So this increased shop prices, shop gun parts rather. Make unique here. Okay, upgrade tree screen. Let's take a look at that and see if it looks good. Oh, Emerson, welcome back. Time to ship that crate, yes. Shift H or V to rotate. Shift H. Oh. Oh, Shift V is vertical. Shift H, there we go. Very nice. Thank you for the suggestion. Why does that look weirdly off center? There we go. That does not look terrible. Oh. That does not look terrible. Cool. All right, boom. Easy money. What does make unique do in this context? I'm assuming it stops passing things by reference. Still pretty new to Godot. Yeah, so by default, any resources that you assign through the inspector are going to be passed by reference. And so the problem was that what I basically did was, in order to get, so I'm using an Atlas texture here. So basically what I did is I copied from here the Atlas texture and pasted it into this. But the problem is, because that copy and paste operation, it uses the same resource reference. So an Atlas texture is like its own resource, but these two things would have been referring to the same resource. So when I changed the region here to update that texture, it would have updated the region in the other one as well, because they're sharing the same resource. So what I have to do is I have to break the resource sharing by basically clicking make unique, which I think just duplicates the resource, so it creates a new reference of the resource to this. It's basically a brand new resource, and that means that I can change it without affecting anything else. So yeah, that's a common pitfall with Godot, is like, and these kinds of things, like there's a lot of resources, like collision shapes are resources. So if you copy a collision shape over to quickly build something and then you change the size, it's going to change the size of the other thing that's using that same resource reference. So you basically just have to make sure that you're breaking those references by clicking make unique whenever you're copy and pasting resources in particular. But yeah, so that's a common pitfall. This is fun to watch. I burned myself out today coding at the moment. I can't bear to look at it any further. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're having fun here. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. What do I want to do? My to-do list is very small. I kind of really want to do this one. This new passive. I think we'll do that. So I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. I'm going to go get a refill of my drink and all that good stuff. And when I come back, we'll work on this passive, which is that enemies affected by oil and poison spawn fairies that apply random status effects to enemies. And then I'm going to make that unlockable by applying all status effects to a single entity. So we're going to see how that works. What tool are you using to track your pending tasks? This is Obsidian, the note-taking app Obsidian, with the Obsidian Kanban community plugin. And it basically just, yeah, turns your markdown file into a Kanban board. It's pretty neat. Metaphorical code, I will get to your comment after my quick break. So if you want to just hang in there, give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back, and then we will continue on with the work for the stream. So in the meantime, check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways you can support me. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, metaphorical code. I'm looking for advice if you don't mind. I haven't coded in a couple of years, but I have some C# experience as a CS bachelor's. Oh, a CS bachelor's. Will your C# course be sufficient, or should I refresh my memory first? Well, I would say that although I would be eager to accept your money, I would say that it probably is a good idea to refresh your memory on C# first, because I don't spend a lot of time teaching the like C# concepts. I kind of, the C# course is kind of making the assumption that you understand statically typed languages, which it sounds like you do. So I would definitely recommend getting a refresher first. Just, do some coding exercises. I'm sure it'll come back to you rather quickly. And then once you feel comfortable with that, then move into the course. The other thing is, like, you could buy the course if you're interested, and just kind of like look up the C# concepts as you're going along. But you'll probably have a better experience if you're already familiar with like all the code that I'm writing during the course. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. You are welcome, Hungry Garrett. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I don't think I welcomed you. Thank you, Jackie. That's very much appreciated. I have 0 Godot experience at the moment. Yeah, I'll wait. Thanks for reply in advance. Oh, wait for the break. That's good, Old Rod. Yeah, I mean, your mileage will vary. I just don't want to make a promise that, oh yeah, you'll have no problems with the course. I just don't want to make that promise because I'm not sure. Proper research by their own, yeah. Solid start, get involved in context. Let's see. Yeah, you're welcome, Metaphorical Code, and welcome to the stream, by the way. Great to have you here. Okay, so this one should be relatively fun. Reread the C# docs by Microsoft and approach your course then. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so make something unlockable by, so let's do this one first. Enemies affected by oil and poison spawn fairies that apply random status effects to enemies. So this is going to be really interesting, I think. This is actually going to be quite difficult. Because the way that I want this to work is I want it to like be every half a second or whatever that an enemy is affected by oil and poison at the same time. It will spawn like a little fairy that flies around and like waves the wand and like just curses enemies with random status effects. And the idea is that if you could get a whole screen filled with oil and poison, then you'd have a bunch of these fairies popping out and just like, applying these status effects. So I guess what I could do, rather than, maybe I'll just give it a 0.5 second cooldown instead of trying to pull every half a second. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, if you hit an enemy that has oil and poison on it, then spawn a fairy and then trigger a cooldown of 0.5 seconds. I think that's probably more realistic than, because what I was thinking is, well, if a single enemy is constantly suffering from poison and oil, then every 0.5 seconds spawn a fairy. But that's a more difficult approach to the problem than just like having a cooldown and then just triggering it on a hit. So I think I'm going to do that instead. So, and of course we're going to call this passive the fairy godmother, or fairy godmothers plural. Let's do it. All right, so passive, create new resource, player passive resource, fairy. So, and the other thing about this passive is the whole reason for this passive is that it's designed so that if you don't, like, let's say you need fire to trigger one of your passives, but for some reason you're just not getting any fire runes or fire gun parts. This passive is sort of designed that it's like a way that you can get the status effects that you need without necessarily having those on your gun. So yeah, fairy godmother. Boom. Applying oil to a poisoned enemy spawns a fairy godmother that applies, let's do this, fairy godmother that applies a random status effect to enemies. So max stacks, let's do a 0.5 second cooldown. Fairies last 3 seconds, and we'll make it stack. So 1, 2, make it max stacks of 2.5 second cooldown. Feature tags. Oh, I could give it everything: blood, poison, oil, fire, lightning. Just give it everything. Do I have haunt? Yes. We'll just give it all the tags. Yes. Loot weight. We're gonna turn down the loot weight quite a bit, actually, because each of these tags, I think, increases the weight. Has unlock condition true, unlock condition description. Apply every status effect to a single enemy. I should maybe change this to unlocked by applying every status effect to a single enemy. Okay, new scene. Fairy, godmother, passive. Scenes, component, passive in here, fairy, godmother, passive. Cool. Let's create a script for it. Create game dot what is it? Component dot passive. I guess so. Yeah. Player passive. Okay. So game events dot instance dot connect, game events dot signal name dot entity collision game event, callable dot from entity collision event on entity collision, private void on entity collision. Does this have the status receiver? It does not. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so on entity collision event. Cool. So if not entity collision event dot, let's do this. Var status receiver is equal to entity collision event dot get first dot entity dot get first node of type status receiver component. If I should probably do this. If status receiver is equal to null, then we're just going to return. We're also going to do if is cooling down, return. Put this begin cooldown timer here. Okay. If not status receiver dot has status dot oil or not status receiver dot has status data dot enum dot status dot poison. Then we're just going to go ahead and return. Okay, so otherwise now we can do the actual spawning in here. So I am going to need a resource preloader, and I'm going to need to also create a fairy, but also I need to update this text here. So lasts one, so I need to do this as an expression here. So this is such a small window. So plus zero minus 1 times 2. Okay, so essentially what this is saying is that evaluate this expression, and 0 is the number of occurrences. So when I have one stack, it's going to be 0 times 2, which is 0. But when I have one stack, it's going to be, or when I have two stacks, it's going to be, this is going to evaluate to 1, and then it's going to multiply by 2. So it's going to increase to 5 seconds duration. I mean, I might as well make it double that. I might as well just do 3 seconds for every stack. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, that should be fine. Okay. All right. Are you like 90% completion? Yes, the game is basically complete. I'm just adding some extra stuff, and I've got a bunch of like playtesting and stuff to do. But yeah, I would say the game's probably 95% complete. But I'm going to take the rest of this month just to do playtesting and adding any final content that I want to add. And then the month of February is going to be entirely focused on like marketing and also finalizing some playtesting and everything. Guy that I was watching this live stream, his live stream last week, said it's important to keep Godot always updated with the beta version if you deal with C#. Why is this? Well, I'm not sure why he said that. I think it is important to continue to upgrade to minor versions, because the C# can change quite a bit from version to version, sometimes with breaking changes. So I think that just keeping up to date with the latest stable is a good idea. But I think that's less important now that Godot 4 is a little bit more stable. But maybe he was talking about beta specifically. Maybe the beta versions are changing very rapidly with respect to C#, and so it's important to stay up to date. I don't know. I don't know why he would say that. I don't know the obvious reason why you would need to stay updated. How frequently does Firebelly stream the work process? It's great to look up some tips and work around. Also have a chat to discuss dev stuff. Every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern is usually when I stream. Some days I will not stream, like tomorrow I'm not going to be streaming. But you could also check out the VODs. All of the streams are available on my YouTube channel, so you can go back to the prior ones if you'd like. Hello, Nepal V. Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you. Hello, Pokalus. I'd like to know, what's your enemy or character's design process? How do you come up with their visuals? I'm needing some help about it. Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it's not something that I can really, it's not something that I can just sit down and do. Usually I'll say, okay, I need, like, for the mole rat enemy that I made for the mole rat that I made for as the first boss for the cave level, it took me a while because I'm like, well, I need something that thematically fits with the theme. And sorry. So, I basically just had it rolling around in my head for a little bit. I was like, well, I need a boss that's thematically in line with the cave level, but I didn't know immediately what it should be. So in those situations, I just kind of keep it in the back of my mind and say, okay. Usually what I try to do is I say, okay, as I'm playing a video game or as I'm watching a movie or whatever, like I'm just going to kind of keep it in my mind that I need an idea for a thematically coherent enemy. And sometimes, like, I'll just be consuming other media and I'll be like, ooh, I like that character, or that character gives me an idea for something I could do. So it's not something that I can, like, just sit down and come up with usually. Usually I know what kind of enemy I need, and then I just let my mind kind of work in the background until something comes to me. So I know that's not really that helpful, but... But in terms of the visuals, yeah, I usually just, you know, like for the mole rat, I'm like, well, I need a naked mole rat, so I'm just going to try to draw a naked mole rat. It's, yeah, there's nothing too sophisticated about it, really. And that stuff probably comes easier the more practiced you are with pixel art. Because I used to struggle a lot with, like, drawing characters, and I'm gradually getting better at that, so just a matter of practice, I think. Anyway, so I actually need to create a fairy godmother now. Scene, new scene, 2D scene. I don't know if I'm going to get to the visuals today, but I'm going to see if I can get the whatchamacallit. Wow, why can't I speak? You know why I can't speak? I'm a half hour past my usual lunchtime. I'm very hungry, but we're going to power through. We're going to get this done. Okay, so the fairy godmother, add child node, sprite 2D. We're going to give it a new placeholder texture. We're going to try to keep the fairy godmother to like a 16 by 16, so it's like a really tiny fairy. We're going to see how that works. I don't know. I am going to add a visuals node here. Sprite 2D up there, okay. Shadow component underneath. Might even make this go up higher. There we go. Yeah, you can imagine a little fairy kind of floating around. Add child node. Velocity component. Fairy godmother. We'll give her quite a bit of acceleration and speed. Yeah, that'll be fine. What else? I guess we'll do a facing component, even though I'm not really going to be using this. Node to scale visuals, cool. And we need, oh, this needs to be a different type. This needs to be a character body 2D, right. And I need a pathfind component. Cool. Collision shape 2D. This is just a formality really, but might as well add it. Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and create a script for it now. GameObject.entity. Node private pathfind component. Node private velocity component. Node private facing component. And we need a state machine. Private delegate state machine. State machine. Maybe I don't need a state machine actually, but yeah, maybe I don't. But I'm just going to use one because that's kind of the pattern that I'm using. So I'm going to create my normal states. Oops. Private void state normal. Private void leave state normal. Okay. And we need the ready method, public override void ready. Is there a way to choose a random enum value in C#? So we'll give it a target entity. So in enter state normal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say target entity is equal to game utils.get closest entity to position, searcher node this, data enum faction.enemy, vector 2 target position, global position, and the filter function, that's fine. Oh, this is giving me the hurt box. Right. That's fine. I think what I want is just this. I don't want the hurt box. Okay, so get closest entity to position. So that's going to assign that. Okay, so pathfind component.set target position is instance valid. Target entity question mark. Then we're going to say target entity dot global position. Otherwise, we're going to set map get random point. Let's see. You know what I think? There's a problem here. Interval timer. Did I set the interval timer pathfind component? That's not to auto start, okay? If pathfind component.can set target position. Okay, so otherwise we're going to say get random point. So we're just going to make them fly around basically. That's not correct. Okay, vector 2. Return navigation server. That should work. We don't need this to be uniform, so we're going to get rid of that. What? I have to pass in the uniformly? Whatever. Okay, so yep, and then we're going to say pathfind component.follow path, facing component.update, global position plus velocity component.velocity. I think that's fine. All right, so now I need a way of having the fairy apply the status. So let's go ahead and do this. Timer. Let's do status interval timer. One shot, 0.5 seconds. Not auto start. Okay, let's grab a reference to this. Node private timer status interval timer. If status interval timer dot is stopped. Private void apply random status. So you're going to say var target entity is equal to is instance valid. So we're going to look at the existing target entity. If that's so, we're going to say there's my target entity. So let's just call it target. Let's entity. Otherwise, we are going to do this. Private node 2D get so entity is instance valid. Trying to think of how I want to do this. So let's do this. Acquire target entity here. If not is instance valid. Entity. Okay, let's simplify this. If not is instance valid target entity. I'm going to call acquire target entity. And then we're going to try it again. Otherwise, now we can say var status receiver is equal to target entity dot get first node of type status receiver component. If status receiver is equal to null, return. Okay, so now we need the random status. Cool. All right. So I just need to apply the random status now. Thank you for telling me that. Good luck on your game. I'll try to buy it as soon as possible. Thank you. I appreciate that, Pokelos. Hello, Felipe. I think it's too late for me to join this awesome stream, but here I am. It's not too late. Still got a couple more minutes in here. Basically just trying to have this fairy godmother apply a random status effect. But for that, I need to know how to choose random enum value C#. How do I select a random value from enumeration? Okay, so I basically just turned this into an array and then recast it. Enum get values, okay. Private, I don't know what the type is. Status values is equal to enum get values data.enum.status. So what does this return? This returns an array. It's literally just an array. What? why doesn't it have a type? That's weird. That's really weird. Okay. Oh, wait. I put this in the wrong class anyway. Doesn't change the fact that it's weird. Enum get values T to avoid casting. What do I cast it to? Just an int? It'll convert my enum to what? As a dictionary? But I don't know what type is supposed to be in here. I don't know what type is supposed to go in this. Object. Yeah, no. I don't understand what type is supposed to go in the generic there. Your enum type. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Right. So it returns an array of my type. I see. Thank you. That makes much more sense. Okay. That makes sense. All right, all right. Okay, perfect. That's great. So now when I go to apply random status, I can say so status values dot or index math util dot rng dot rand I range 0 to status values dot length -1. Cool. And then I can do status receiver dot apply status. I also need to get the weakest gun, so var weakest gun stats is equal to this dot get player dot gun manager dot get weakest gun stats if weakest gun stats equals null, return. Okay. So apply status, then we can do the random status here. Gun stats, weakest gun stats, and then the count. Perfect. Okay. So there we go. All right. So now in the fairy godmother passive, what we can do here is I can say var fairy is equal to resource preloader dot instance scene or null fairy godmother. So fairy dot global position is equal to entity collision event dot entity dot global position. This dot get base level dot entities or get parent dot add child fairy, and that should be it. Oh, I need to add a lifetime to these things too. Right. So let me do this. Public void set lifetime. Float lifetime. Fairy dot set lifetime. It's going to be 3 plus occurrences -1 times 3. Okay, and I'll create this. Add child node timer. Life timer, 1 shot. Node private timer, life timer, and then in here, just go ahead and add that. So life timer.timeout plus equals on life timer timeout. So verbose, man. But that is something that I'm inflicting upon myself. I should probably change this to match. Obviously, this is not going to have any animations or anything. Not yet, anyway. Because it's just a pink square for now. All right. All right. So now let's go ahead and test it. Any bets on whether this is going to work first try or not? I guess we'll find out. Man, you look like a lot like a Brazilian YouTuber called Ian Neves. Ian Neves. Do I dare look this up? Maybe. There's not much resemblance. Maybe a little bit. Welcome, Brandon. Good to see you. Yes, that's right, barbecue chicken robot. What cam and software you use for live streaming? Sort of off topic, but no list in your description. I use OBS just for the live streaming, as well as Social Stream, which is like a little plugin / standalone app where you can get the YouTube chat to show up on screen like I'm doing now. And then the camera is, what is the camera? A Sony EV1 or something like that. Hold on, let me see if I can. Oh, Sony ZV1. Works 100% of the time, 60% of the time, yeah. Yeah, you think the camera is good? It's a nice camera. It's just like a little point and shoot camera. It does 4K and everything, and I was able to just get like an HDMI to USB adapter for pulling it off the screen, and I also got a little dummy battery for it, which plugs directly into an outlet. So instead of having to worry about battery power, it's just getting constant power source from the outlet. So I don't have to worry about it shutting off midstream or keeping batteries charged and all that. Okay, so add, or say gun oil right, add passive fairy godmother. Fairy godmothers. Applying oil to a poisoned enemy spawns a fairy godmother that applies random status effects to enemies. Fairies last 3 seconds. Okay, it did not work. And the reason it didn't work is because I did not add my resource preloader here with the fairy godmother entity. There's always like one thing that I forget. Lots of errors. Forgot to assign the state machine to new. Let's go ahead and try it again. Okay, it applied haunt. So they need more sophisticated pathfinding, but there's a lightning bolts coming down. That's cool! And they're applying fire and everything. Okay, let's get rid of this problem. This needs to be floating, and then these need to have collision masks of just terrain. Okay. Get that situated as well. So I got to give them a little bit more interesting attack patterns or movement patterns. What I can do is, let me think. I could spawn them in a small radius around the entity, but I don't think I want to do that because then I have to do ray casting to make sure that they're spawning inside of the playable area and not going inside of walls and stuff. So I think what I'll do is I'll just make sure that they maintain a distance from their target so that way they're not like right on top of it. That said, those are stationary targets. So what happens if I go into the actual game? Oh, this is going to be so fun. You're just going to have a massive amount of fairies on the level, applying random status effects to everyone. Oh, and then they just choose... I was like, where are they going? They just choose random locations, I think. That's actually really fun. Even though they're just pink squares. Also, I died. Well, that was, aside from just a couple of issues, I basically got that script down pretty good. So, initial work on Fairy Godmother passive. Now, I do need to add the unlock condition for it, but I don't think I'm going to get to that. So, let's do art, and then I need to implement the unlock condition. Sound effects for when they apply their magic. Probably. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a real fun one. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for the stream today. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for watching. Very much appreciate that. And thank you all for your support. Even just watching my videos is a great way to support me. But if you are interested in supporting me financially, you can purchase one of my Udemy courses. The links for those are in the description below. And of course, you can purchase Gunforged when it comes out. Again, I'm targeting Gunforged for an end of February release. Depending on how I'm feeling, I may actually end up moving that up, but probably not. I think what I'll do is I don't want to rush the game out, so I'll keep my end of February release date. I'm going to have the game basically done by the end of this month, and then what I'm going to do is just kind of sit on the game for a month, and I'm just going to play it and continue to refine it during that time, and then it will be out at the end of February. So definitely wishlist Gunforged if you're interested, so that you can purchase it when it becomes available. Again, Gunforged is going to be less than $10, so if you're expecting it to be 15 or 20, it's not going to be that. It's going to be less than $10. So what else? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, check out the links in the description below. And very much appreciate you all watching and interacting with the chat. And to all the lurkers and VOD watchers out there, I very much appreciate your support as well. And I will not be streaming tomorrow because I've got the plumbers coming back to do more work on the house. But I will be back at it on, what is tomorrow? Thursday? I'll be back at it on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you on Friday.